Coming to you live from Berlin, Germany, in Europe, EMEA, the Eastern Hemisphere, on this planet Earth, in our solar system, in the Orion arm of the Milky Way galaxy and the universe at large. It's the LEC. And you know, when you look at the sheer scale of the universe like that, it's hard to imagine there is anything more important than deciding the meaning of life and who will avoid elimination in the LEC winter split. Already, 6 teams have locked their spot in the group stage, with the 2 remaining spots up for grabs. Over the next 30 hours, adjusted to 38 with potential tiebreakers and pauses, our teams will fight to the death, to the figurative death in the cybersphere. But first, would you consider yourself a go-getter? Are you someone who mindlessly copy pastas in chat? Or are you the goddamn chef? Introducing Foldy Sheet 13. Much like all the latest phones, it's got all the features of the last 12 years in Foldy Sheet in a slightly bigger package. You can go get your very own Foldy Sheet 13 and upgrade to the Ultramax Pro at lec.gg/FoldySheet. Terms and conditions may apply. Foldy Sheet, fold your way through the day. Now, back to the scheduled programming for today. You might think esports is all fun and games. It's anything but. Match 1 is on the line. Everything is on the line for Excel. And let me tell you, Excel will be eliminated with a loss versus SK today. They are no longer in control of their own destiny, but they must win both their matches this weekend to have a chance. If 2 teams among Koi and Fnatic and Koi, Astralis, and Fnatic reach 4 wins, then Excel can only possibly reach 3, and in turn will be eliminated. So you can see with an SK win there, Excel's chances go to 0 for tie breaks. Now, Vitality versus BDS and Mad versus Heretics are fights for seeding and the top spots in the league. If you finish top 2, you get to choose your opponent in the first round of the group stage. But the most important match of the day to avoid elimination is Fnatic versus Astralis right here. The winner of Fnatic versus Astralis will lock at least a tiebreaker for 8th place. You can see right now we're looking at tiebreakers. Astralis, they go up to 100% with a win. Same thing for Fnatic, and they would have a chance in a tiebreaker. Either way, if the winner of this match also then goes on to win their match tomorrow, in this case it's Fnatic, they will guarantee themselves a spot in the top 8 with no need of tiebreaker. Now, following Fnatic versus Astralis is our match of the week. And if Koi manage to win this... Lock and alert. If Koi win Game 5, they will also lock their spot in the... Let's go over there. Koi win, and Koi go up to 100% chance of locking in a spot. A win tomorrow, if they lose to G2 here, would also accomplish that for them. You can see 100% right there. So put down your cell phones, grab your Foldy Sheet Ultramax Pro 13, and look up a video on origami, because it's time to start bending. The LEC starts right now.
Hey, welcome back here to this side of the analyst desk. Anders, thank you so much for all this.
You're welcome. I left my Foldy Sheet over there. Darn it. Is it still intact?
Did you sell them? Can you give us a deal?
Yeah, that's actually free on lec.gg/Foldy Sheet, so no price. Go get them while they're hot.
Get them today. Well, let's keep on focusing on what could happen for the group stage here. 4 teams are fighting for their last 2 spots here. And before we dive into our thoughts. I want to hear about what you guys think at home. Vote now on discord.lec.gg. Who do you think will advance to the group stage? And guys, same question for you. Let's look at the schedule, the updated schedule for the rest of the week. Based on what we've seen yesterday, who do you think is going to stay here, actually?
I think odds on Koi look very good. They're, of course, coming to the week with the best record, so 3 out of 3 and 4, so they just need the one win to move on. Now, G2, that's a tough game they've got going up for them, but the next match, Astralis, is definitely winnable for them. That being said, Astralis have all the matches they need to try and win this series.
Exactly. That's the thing. I don't know if my opinion is controversial yet. I've seen it be very polarized, but I actually believe that Astralis will be the one team that goes into the group stage together with Koi. I think they'll beat Fnatic today. They'll have a very good chance of securing at least that tiebreaker, and they will follow through on it. I think Koi, as you explained earlier, only having to win that one game should be pretty safe. But Astralis versus Fnatic, that's the banger. And right now, my cards on Astralis.
Yeah, I mean, we have Astralis Fnatic coming up later today, and I think, obviously, winner of that has a very good shot of moving forward. Now, if the winner of that match then goes on to lose, it does get a little bit back and forth, but Astralis, after that comeback win yesterday, that was just wild with Finn going all in on the scaling. And when I look at Astralis versus Fnatic, part of me just says, look, Astralis are stealing wins away with the scaling. Fnatic look best on like the obvious team fight comp with like Reckless back on the server. Like maybe this is just a game that comes down to fights around objectives.
Also, just speaking of momentum, right? Astralis has just started picking up their victories as well, while Fnatic had looked struggling lately. So in terms of who's had the best form recently, it is still laying with Astralis. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and looking at an important one yesterday with against SK Gaming on the side of Excel, guys. You mentioned it. One loss today. They're out.
Yeah, that noise about sums up Excel's chances.
It is fine. I think it sums it up quite well. But yeah, any hopes, Chippy, maybe?
I mean, I think yesterday Excel actually did finally show some positivity. I think Vito with his first game on Jace was actually really solid. I think the problem that just is with this team is that it just looks a bit doomed. Like, even if there's some positivities, there's still more holes in this ship. And quite frankly, I don't see them fixing all these holes.
The thing is, Excel, in order to qualify, they don't just have to beat SK, they have to beat Vitality tomorrow. And even then, they still might not even get a tiebreaker, because if 2 of 3 between Fnatic, Astralis, and Koi finish with 4 wins, they're gone. They can't actually reach 4 wins. So barring some miracles actually happening, I just can't see Excel making it. And they haven't shown the growth, I think, in the last 3 weeks necessary to make me confidently say, oh yeah, they can win 2 games and also a tiebreaker at the end of that.
I agree with that. And I mean, same case for Fnatic in one way. They didn't fend themselves yet. And it could be the first time in the history of the organization that they miss out on past the regular season. They could not make it to group stage here. So we'll see what happens for them today, and let's see what the fans at home think. Koi 45%, Fnatic and Astralis close at around 25%, and Excel at 5%.
See, I feel like the fans are trolling, because Finn came in last week, right? Promised us that there was going to be the Astralis miracle run. They have that insane game yesterday. I mean, the Gangplank had, what do you have there? The Gangplank, yeah, I like that.
This is exactly what it is. Som Gangplank fra Bilgewater for længe siden skulle dø og genopstå. Lige så har Finn sprintet de første uger, men rejst sig i går. Og I er alle vidner i dag. Finn vil bringe Astralis til gruppespillet.
I thought he was going to talk about the game. He had a great game on Gangplank yesterday, so maybe he can carry with that one. Okay.
So back to the LEC.
Yeah, let's go.
Thanks,
GB. Cut the music. Who set this up?
Yes, that wasn't Finn. Thanks, GB. That was really enlightening. Anyway, back to the league, because we have G2 Esports facing Koi later today in our match of the week. And we got to talk to Yike and get more on this insight since he joined the LEC. Let's take a look at this rather than what was going on here.
When I started playing 2 years ago, I just played the Division 2 of France, and I was watching the Division 1 and EU Masters, which like everyone plays right now, and I got really jealous of all the players there because I wanted to become better than them, and it was really frustrating for me to just sit and watch them play in the higher leagues when I feel like I could actually play there. people like to recruit the youngest prodigies that they can develop, and that's what scared me a lot. And also there is like a lot of rookies right now in LEC that is like much younger than me, like 2-3 years younger than me. I'm probably like one of the oldest rookies that joined here. I thought I would be too scared, too nervous, and that I would just choke. But it was kind of the opposite. I got too excited. Now I really love playing on stage. And I would call myself a really creative person. I think outside of the game, like even when I go better sometimes, I can just think of scenarios that no one thinks of, like some mechanics that people never think of. And I think this playstyle is the playstyle that is gonna be able to win worlds. When you have good team chemistry, it just goes on smoothly, both outside of the game and inside of the game. I feel like when you play and you have fun, that's when you play the best. And I feel like no one in the team has any doubt, and we all just trust each other, and that's what makes us play like so good together. I feel like I have so much trust in, for example, my bot lane, the Fnatic game. I know, okay, I can use path bot, I can play around them, and I know that we will win the game. There's a quote that I like to follow, and it's basically like, if you're afraid to lose, then you will probably lose. And that's the thing. I've been afraid for my whole life, just doing mistakes and all of that. And I realized now that there's no point just thinking about it. I think I should just play my own game, be confident in myself, be confident in my team. And I know that everyone in my team trusts me, and I trust everyone in my team. And that's what makes us so good right now.
Yike getting a little bit over aggressive. They're forcing out the flash. Reckless coming over the wall. Rux now in the area. Has the shielding X for Reckless. Mickey now locking Reckless down, buying a bit more space. Hunts on the low end man, but the hook manages to land. First blood. Cash out for the Draven. It's disaster. Rux locked down. Now Yike becomes Yumi. Reckless rolls. Oh, it's a disaster for Fnatic. G2 just too damn clean.
I don't want to get too cocky. I want to have a good mindset where I respect whoever I play against. I just want to show everyone that I can play better than them, and everyone in the team actually thinks that we can win worlds, and I really love that. And it's so insane to me that I met players and staff that actually believe that we can win it all.
Fantastic video here, and amazing to see how much Yike developed in only 3 weeks playing in the LEC. And I've been hosting for 3 days now, so it was about time to bring a bit of LFL bias into the broadcast. Trouble, thank you so much for joining me to talk about this. Well, let's follow up on Yike actually, because we know that LFL brought a lot of talents to the LEC, and this year again, Yike, I got to meet last year when he was playing with LDLC, and within just 1 year, he rose to be one of the best junglers in the league. And to me, when I look at what he's doing in the LEC right now, got the same trajectory going on.
I mean, you look at the ERLs and the guy was playing things like Yana, Kha'Zix, all the aggressive junglers, and you're like, yeah, cool, okay, you can play your niche peaks when you're playing for the LFL, when you're playing in EMEA Masters, but you come to the real big leagues, what can you play? And he's doing the exact same thing. Belveth, Graves, Kindred, facilitating junglers. He plays it all and he plays it well. For a rookie that's very young to come into an organization like G2 and being the connecting link, because I cannot stress enough how much the jungler is the oil that keeps the machine moving. And this guy is doing an absolutely fantastic job at butting heads with the very aggressive junglers that we have here in the LEC, with Malrank and now Bo joining as well.
And I couldn't agree more, especially coming after someone as big as Jankos for G2, because when you listen to communications and how Yaks talk about the team, he's one of the main leaders here and one of the most central voice for G2, which leads me to Shio also, who's the biggest surprise here, because we saw him at the EMEA EU Masters last year, and I was like, this guy will make it to the LEC. But I didn't know he would be that good from the get-go.
Can I just say I'm a little bit biased towards Shio. I thought he was probably the best jungler at EMEA Masters last year. The guy was absolutely hammered in the jungle, 2, 3, 4 levels down, and he'd come back. He'd come back with a gank, he'd come back with getting double the CS, he'd come back with reaching up the levels and being all over the map. I think what's really impressive about him is the fact that he trusted in his team, and you're like, yeah, okay, Trouble, but he was playing in Academy, now he's playing in LEC. It's almost the same team. The carries from BDS Academy are the carries in their LEC team this year. Adam, Crowny, still the same base carries in his team, and he can facilitate for them.
And talking about the last team here, and I know you will be passionate about this one, of course, SK
Listen, I'm trying to
Gaming,
go bias more on CO.
This is fine. I want to talk about Exakik and DOS, because when I introduced them to the league earlier, I was mentioning the inconsistencies they would have at LDLCOL. Feels like it's an all story now, and they look to be one of the best bot lanes we have in the league right now.
I'll tell you what, I've met these guys behind the scenes, and they're two of the most hard-working individuals I have ever seen. The fact that they got given the opportunity to get into the LEC, not to mentioned that DOS was literally the last piece to be on the puzzle of SK, and he's performing like this. That bot lane that took down the likes of Hansama, Neon, Comp, and now they're going to be facing Reckless this weekend as well. It feels like on a bot-centric meta, when your rookies are like this in the bot lane and absolutely taking it by storm, then you've got a good recipe for success.
Taking down all the veterans one by one. And Yike and Dust are facing off against Patrick and Targamas in a do or die game for Excel. Casual and Initialize, take it away.